There is a moment, so quiet, so hidden, that most people miss it. A moment when everything seems to be falling apart. When the doors are closing faster than you can knock. When the people you trusted disappear. And you start to wonder, did life forget me? But what if I told you? That's not the end. That's not failure. That is the prelude. Because when God is about to give you something big, He first strips away everything that is small. You see, most people pray for elevation, but they don't understand the price. You want more, you want greatness, you want abundance, destiny, legacy, then you must be ready for the breaking. Because God does not pour a gallon into a cup that was only built to hold a teaspoon. He expands you by testing you. He strengthens you by stretching you. And He prepares you by removing what you thought you couldn't live without. You asked for more. And the moment you did, the divine blueprint began. Not a blueprint of ease, but of transformation. Look through history. Abraham Lincoln was defeated in 8 elections before becoming one of the greatest presidents in American history. Thomas Edison failed over 10,000 times before bringing the light bulb into the world. Do you think that was coincidence? Do you think the universe makes mistakes? Number greatness requires purification. It requires the fire. And if you're walking through that fire right now, if the doors have shut, the friends have gone silent, the answers seem hidden, then congratulations. You are being refined for something much greater than the life you thought you were building. Because when God is about to give you something big, He doesn't do it when you're surrounded by noise. He waits until you're still, until you're listening, until you've stopped leaning on the world and started leaning on Him. Your mindset is the forge. This world will offer you 1,000 excuses to quit. It will reward comfort, distraction, and mediocrity. It will tempt you to compare, to envy, to wish instead of work. But none of that will build the version of you that destiny requires. Success does not begin with action. It begins with awareness. Awareness that you were never meant to be average. That the seeds of greatness were planted in your soul before you took your first breath. But like any seed, it must be nurtured, protected, fed. And the food of greatness is belief. Not belief in what you see, not belief in what others tell you. Belief in what you know deep down when the noise is gone and the soul speaks loudest. Do you believe that what you desire already exists in the unseen? That your dream is not a fantasy, but a future memory trying to come through you? That is the essence of faith. That is the cornerstone of every empire built without a blueprint. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper because they said he lacked imagination. Henry Ford was told the assembly line was foolish. Steve Jobs was pushed out of the very company he founded. But they all had the same ingredient, a mind that saw the invisible and refused to give up on it. So if you're tired, if you're doubting, if your life feels like it's being torn down, look again. God is clearing the ground so He can build something that won't collapse when the pressure comes. Clarity is the next step. Clarity doesn't come from waiting, it comes from moving. You don't sit still and beg for answers. You take the next step in faith, and clarity is revealed in motion. Imagine a fog-covered road. You can't see a mile ahead. But the moment you take one step, just one, the fog lifts a little, then another, until one day you're standing in a place that once felt impossible. This is how life works. This is how faith works. You are not supposed to have the whole picture before you begin. If you did, it wouldn't require growth. It wouldn't require trust. Too many people wait for the perfect plan. They want the full GPS route before leaving the driveway. But what if God is saying, I will guide your steps, but only after you move your feet? This is why clarity and courage are intertwined. The stronger your courage, the clearer your path. And the stronger your path, the closer you are to the big thing that's been prepared for you. Vision is sacred. Your vision is the language your soul speaks. It's the movie playing in your mind when no one else is watching. It's what wakes you up early and keeps you up late. And if it doesn't, then it's time to get a bigger vision. Because when God is about to give you something big, He doesn't give you small dreams. He gives you an image of what could be so powerful it scares you. That's the test. If your vision doesn't stretch you, it will never shape you. If it doesn't make you uncomfortable, it will never make you unshakable. You don't rise to your vision by accident. You become the version of yourself that can carry it, because God doesn't give you what you want. He gives you what you're ready for. And readiness isn't about your resume. It's about your mindset. It's about whether you can handle the pressure of purpose. Do you have the strength to hold your vision when everything in your life contradicts it? When the bank account is low, when the relationships are crumbling, when the effort feels wasted? That's where most people quit. Not because they weren't capable, but because they didn't believe long enough to see it through. The vision was given to you for a reason, not to tease you, to test you. So the question is, will you pass? Purpose is the compass. Without it, you drift. With it, you dominate. Purpose is not a job title. It's not a salary. It's not a follower count. Purpose is the internal fire that refuses to die, no matter how long you've been waiting. It's the reason you get back up when everything inside you screams to stay down. It's not a thing you find. It's something you remember, because it's been with you since the beginning. But the world tries to bury it, with opinions, with fear, with deadlines and distractions. And so most people forget. They live by habit, not by conviction. They survive Mondays and endure Fridays, never realizing they were designed for more. But if you're hearing this, something in you knows that the life you're living is a fraction of the life that's calling. Knows that the ache in your chest is not confusion. It's a divine signal. A reminder that the mission has not been canceled, only delayed. And only until you're ready to carry it with the weight it deserves. You see, purpose isn't always loud. Sometimes it whispers. It waits in the silence. It speaks through what breaks you, because what breaks you is often what builds you. Think about it. Nelson Mandela's purpose was forged in a prison cell. Martin Luther King Jr.'s voice was amplified by injustice. Malala's mission was born from a bullet. Pain is often purpose in disguise, not because suffering is noble, but because suffering uncovers what truly matters. So if you're in the dark, don't panic. That pressure you're feeling, that tension, that burning restlessness, that is God shaping the steel of your soul. He is preparing you not just to receive, but to carry something massive. And with purpose comes discipline. Discipline is the proof that you believe in what you said you want. Because talk is cheap in the face of adversity. But discipline is loyalty to your vision, long after the mood has left the room. It is waking up early when no one's watching. It is grinding through the silence when the applause has stopped. It is choosing the long-term win over the short-term dopamine. You don't get to wish your way to greatness. You work your way there. And work is not glamorous. It's not shiny. It's repetitive, brutal, lonely, and absolutely necessary. The masses want motivation, but the elite, they build systems, they build rituals, they automate victory. They don't need to feel like it, because they've decided already. And this is where most people fold. They start with enthusiasm, but no endurance. They confuse dopamine for destiny. And when the buzz fades, so do they. But if you're still showing up, through the fatigue, through the setbacks, through the confusion, that means you're being separated. Not punished, prepared. God doesn't test the mediocre. He tests the chosen. Because only the chosen can carry the weight of destiny without breaking under it. So if life is heavy right now, good. You're being trusted with more. Now comes action. All the vision, purpose, belief, and discipline in the world mean nothing without action. Action is the bridge between potential and proof. You can journal, you can meditate, you can manifest all you want, but until your feet move, nothing changes. You don't wait for the opportunity, you become the opportunity. You don't ask for permission, you step into authority. God is not sending miracles to those sitting idle. He sends miracles to those already in motion. Like David running toward Goliath. Like Rosa Parks staying seated when the world told her to move. Like Elon Musk betting every dollar he had on a vision no one else could see. Action doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be persistent, because imperfect action will always beat perfect hesitation. Take the call, send the pitch, make the leap, and when you fall, because you will, get back up faster. The universe doesn't reward comfort, it rewards courage. But even courage must be paired with gratitude. Gratitude is not a passive emotion, it's a warrior's perspective. It is choosing to see the gift inside the grind, to bless the burdens because they're shaping your backbone, to thank the obstacles because they're refining your focus. Gratitude is the alchemy that turns struggle into strength, not because you love the pain, but because you recognize its purpose. When God is about to give you something big, He watches how you handle the small. He watches your attitude when it's boring, when it's frustrating, when it feels like nothing is working. That's when your character is revealed, not in the spotlight, but in the silence. Say thank you for the delay. Say thank you for the rejection. Say thank you for what didn't work, because it led you to what will. Gratitude is not weakness. It is the flex of the focused, the mindset of the unstoppable. Because when you're grateful, you're powerful. You can't be both bitter and unstoppable. You must choose. And when you do, the tide begins to turn. Adaptability is the secret weapon. Life does not reward the rigid. It rewards the resilient. Those who bend don't break. Those who adjust don't retreat. Those who evolve dominate. Because when the storm hits, and it will, your survival doesn't depend on how strong you were yesterday. It depends on how quickly you adapt today. Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb on his first try. He adapted over 10,000 times. The Wright brothers didn't soar because they were lucky. They failed, recalibrated, studied the wind, and then they flew. And so will you. You cannot cling to the old and still receive the new. You cannot pray for abundance while holding on to scarcity. You cannot become who you were meant to be if you're still defending who you used to be. The world is shifting, the energy is moving, and God is whispering. Are you willing to let go of what's familiar, to step into what's divine? That business idea you had to scrap? That relationship you had to leave? That identity you had to shed? None of it was wasted. It was all training. It was all part of the design. Because when God is about to give you something big, He doesn't upgrade your life. He upgrades you so you can handle what you're asking for. So you don't sabotage the very thing you spent years preparing to receive. And that requires flexibility. That requires humility. That requires being open to a plan you didn't write, but were always meant to live. Now comes the test of resilience. Resilience is not toughness, it's transcendence. It's how many times you're willing to die to the old version of you, so something greater can be born. Every person you admire has walked through hell, but what made them great was not the absence of pain, it was the refusal to stay down in it. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Oprah Winfrey was told she was unfit for television. J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter as a broke single mother battling depression. Pain is not the end, it's the gate. Resilience is what walks you through it. And the deeper the purpose, the heavier the pressure. So don't ask for a lighter load. Ask for a stronger back. You are not being buried, you are being planted. The darkness around you is not the end, it is the beginning. It is the place where roots grow deep enough to support the weight of your coming harvest. So don't just endure, grow. Don't just survive, multiply. Your future self is watching. Your unborn dreams are depending on you to push through, because everything you've prayed for is waiting on the other side of your decision to rise one more time. And now, learning becomes your edge. Most people stop learning after the diploma, but the elite, they never stop, because they understand. Every day is school. Every challenge is a teacher. Every failure is a classroom in disguise. Life is constantly speaking. Are you listening? The moment you think you know it all, you close the door to expansion. But when you stay teachable, you stay elevating. Andrew Carnegie surrounded himself with thinkers. Henry Ford hired people smarter than him in every area. They didn't let ego block evolution. They learned forward. You must do the same. Read the books, study the giants, journal your patterns, sit at the feet of mentors who challenge you, and most importantly, learn from your own life. Your pain has lessons. Your mistakes have blueprints. Your disappointments are sermons, if you're humble enough to hear them. And the faster you learn, the faster you evolve. Because when God is about to give you something big, He tests whether you're ready to steward wisdom. Not just talent, not just ambition. Wisdom. That's the separator. That's what keeps you grounded when the platform expands. Because God's not interested in giving you something that will destroy you. He's interested in molding you into someone who can carry it with grace, with strength, with legacy. So ask yourself, are you still teachable? Are you willing to release the pride and rise with perspective? Because the faster you learn, the faster He lifts. And now we arrive at the edge, the place where most people hesitate, where the old self begs you to retreat, and the future version of you is standing with an outstretched hand, saying, "Come, step into what you were born for." This is the crossing. You can feel it, the shift, the pull, like something invisible and undeniable is pressing on your chest, not to crush you, but to ignite you. Because God is not just giving you something big, He's birthing something through you, a new identity, a new standard, a new level of leadership, purpose, power. And yes, it will cost you. It will cost your comfort. It will cost your excuses. It will cost your addiction to waiting, to doubting, to shrinking. It will cost the version of you that keeps negotiating with destiny. But what you gain in return is unmatched. You gain alignment. You gain clarity. You gain the thunder in your voice and the fire in your eyes. You gain peace, not from ease, but from becoming undeniably who you were always meant to be. Do you understand the weight of that? God doesn't place big visions in small minds. He calls those who can't sleep because their soul won't settle for less. He calls the restless, the broken, the underestimated, the ones who've walked through fire and still dare to love, still dare to believe, still dare to build. And so if the pressure is intense right now, if your faith is being stretched further than it's ever been, if you're questioning whether you're qualified, whether you're ready, whether you'll make it, let me remind you of something eternal. You were chosen before you had a name, before you had a plan, before you were equipped. You were chosen. That idea, that dream, that burden that never leaves, it's not an accident. It's an assignment. And no man, no delay, no failure, no fear can cancel what God has ordained. But here's what you must understand. Faith without movement is fantasy. You must act. You must decide. You must rise. Not next year. Not when you feel ready. Not when it's easy. Now is the time to step. Now is the time to speak. Now is the time to draw the line between who you were and who you refuse to die without becoming. There is no cavalry coming. You are the answer you've been waiting for. There is no right time. There is only your time, and it's now. So stand up, shoulders back, eyes forward. Let the world wonder what's changed in you. Let them feel the power before they even see the results. Let them talk while you build. Because when God is about to give you something big, He strips away everything that's too small for where you're going. He removes relationships, habits, identities, distractions, not to hurt you, but to make room. Room for the life you prayed for. Room for the calling that scares you. Room for the future you buried under fear. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not forgotten. You are becoming. And when that moment comes, when the doors open, when the light breaks through, when the weight you've been carrying finally reveals its why, you'll realize it was never punishment. It was preparation. You were never waiting on God. He was waiting on you. So step, speak, claim what's yours, because the season is shifting and something big is already on the way. You just have to be bold enough, brave enough, hungry enough to receive it. Now go.